Please give a warm welcome to the great Jim Kelly.
Wow, Rod, you think Doug Flutie was coming to talk? How am I supposed to follow that? God bless you, Dennis. Wow. But I'll tell you what, the guy's been through a lot in his life, and I don't know what to say. But first of all, I just want to definitely thank you all very much for having me here. I've never been to Halifax. Every time I bring it up, first thing everybody says is, you should be here in the summertime. I said, that sounds familiar, because when I tell people I live in Buffalo, I pretty much say the same thing. You should be here in the summer, about June 30th through July 4th. But I want to say what an honor it is to be here with Hall of Famers and, of course, Olympic medalist. Great job, congratulations. And, of course, pretty much being here today and listening and talking to some of the ladies and gentlemen from the home that you have here for underprivileged and disabled children. And for me, at the beginning, I was going to have a certain message. But after hearing some of the stories about how they were brought up, how they grew up, and of course, my situation at home, it all brings back great memories and some sad ones. And the bottom line is, no matter where you're brought up or what you go through, every single person in this room has a period in their life where things aren't going quite the way they want it to. But the bottom line is what you do about it is what counts. I grew up in a family in Pennsylvania, and I grew up in a big family, all boys. I was the fourth son. I started out with Pat, and then Ed, and then Ray, and then Jim. My mother talked my father into giving her one more shot for a girl, and they had twin boys to make it 6. But the thing, growing up where I'm from in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, our dream and our goal was to be successful enough to take care of 2 people we loved, and that was my mother and my father. And I was one of the fortunate ones. I remember my dad having me out in the backyard, and I wasn't able to eat lunch until I was done throwing the football. And there were many days I went to my neighbor's house because I didn't want to do that. But there's so many ups and downs from the time where I was in the backyard tossing the football and I was dropping back. I was Terry Bradshaw. I was leading my team down the field in the Super Bowl. And that dream pretty much happened in my life. But before that period, where I'm from, you're either Pitt or a Penn State fan. And I was always a Penn State fan. I played quarterback and I played linebacker and I had my fun times. But 2 weeks before National Signing Day, coming out of high school, Joe Paterno called me and said, Jim, we've already signed 2 All-State quarterbacks, and we want you as a linebacker. And, of course, for me, I wanted to be a quarterback. I wanted to be the guy that would lead my team down the field in college and win a big bowl game and go on to better things in the NFL. And as I went through my high school days, there's a lot of things that I did learn, working hard, perseverance, and so many other things. But when I got to decide to go to the University of Miami, I thought about throwing the football each and every day. And, of course, I got there, and they were running the Vero offense. As everybody knows, I'm not a very good running quarterback. So I decided that I might transfer. So it didn't take me very long to realize that the coach that was there by the name of Lou Saban wasn't the guy that I wanted to be my coach. So Howard Schnellenberger became the head coach. He brought with him Earl Morrow. And, of course, Earl Morrow is the one that taught me the game of football. And here it was, college, all my dreams in front of me, looking up to the Pittsburgh Steelers and maybe one of these days playing for that team. And my senior year in college, I did pretty good throughout the course of the year. My senior year in college, I was up for the Heisman Trophy with guys like John Elway, Dan Marino, Herschel Walker. 4th game of the season, I totally blew out my right shoulder. The doctors told me I would never play football again. And I was one of those quarterbacks that had those big dreams. And the bottom line is what you do about it is what counts. And, of course, I told you a little story about me sitting in my agent's house and wanting to play football and wanting that dream to come true to take care of mom and dad. And everything in front of me just pretty much went straight downhill. I was drafted by the Buffalo Bills, and I said I didn't want to play for them. I wanted to play for a team that I grew up loving, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know there's some Steeler fans in here. No, not Cowboys. And I was sitting there, and of course, the Buffalo Bills selected me with the 14th pick, and I cried. And I really did, because I looked at the things I wanted to do. The Buffalo Bills weren't very good. The owner wasn't one of those owners I thought was dedicated to bringing a championship there. But I soon realized that I wanted to go somewhere else. I went to USFL for 2 years, and from that point, USFL folded, and the best decision I ever made in my life was becoming a Buffalo Bill in 1996. And I know there's a few Buffalo Bills fans here. Sorry, guys. And the more I stand up or talk, the more I start thinking about the point I was getting to with my son, and I apologize, because it's, listen to Dennis and listen to some of these other guys, it has hit home with me, some of the things that, I've been through in my life. But being the Buffalo Bills in 1996 and taking those teams to all those, the games, and really having to overcome so many obstacles in my life, and playing for the Bills, and a dream come true for me was when we played the Oakland Raiders in 1990, AFC Championship game. We beat them 51-3, and I was going to my first Super Bowl. And I thought, wow, what about this dream? Is during the Gulf War, we get to Tampa. Here it was, Jim Kelly come from a little small town, 23 players on my football team, 60 in my graduating class, about 800 in my hometown. And here I was leading my team. And for me, it was a little different, because I remember, I guess not different, but it was a little strange, because here I was in a little town, dropping back and leading my team down the field to win a Super Bowl. Everything I dreamt about happened to me during that game. 2 minutes to go in the game. Super